Ladies, I want to talk to you a little bit about the first generation of the Jewish women who were getting ready for the first Pesach. So we learn that the geulah, the exodus from Mitzrayim, from Egypt, was in the merit of the righteous Jewish women. So how was that? What happened then? We'll move forward a little bit in time when Bnei Israel was encamped in the desert, and they were instructed to give donations to the Mishkan. So what did the Jewish women bring? They brought their mirrors. Now, when Moshe saw these mirrors, he rejected them. He felt that mirrors, they're about vanity. Why put something around vanity into something so holy? But Hashem intervened and said, no, these are the most precious, cherished donations. So why is that? What's so precious about mirrors? What did the women do with these mirrors? So we're going to go back again in Mitzrayim, go back in Egypt. And during the time when Bnei Israel were in Egypt before the Makot, before the plagues, there was a lot of enslavement. All of Bnei Israel was enslaved, and the men had to be in the fields, even by the morning of the work, because straw had to be collected, and they still had to fulfill their quota to build the pyramids and build and create the bricks for the construction that Paro decreed. So in order to make that happen, the men had to stay in the fields. So what did the women do? The women went to the fields with two buckets. One pail had fish and one pail had water, which they brought from the river. And they also brought with them their mirrors. At the end of the day, they came to their husbands and they cleaned them with the water, and they made them the fish and cooked the fish, and they fed them. And they spent time with their husbands, and the mirrors they brought with them, and they took the mirrors to the side, and they were next to their husbands, and they were flirting with them. Who do you think is prettier? Who do you think is more handsome? And they were intimate with their husbands. And it's these mirrors that the women were donating to the Mishkan. Now we're going to move forward to our time in the 21st century. How do we interact with our husbands after a busy day with work, house, children? Do our lives and our conduct resemble our ancestors in the fields of Mitzrayim? Let's narrow this scenario down to right now. I'm recording this. It's a Friday. It's Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So we're 2 weeks away before Pesach, and we have a lot to do in order to get everything ready. We visualize how we want our Seder to look. The house is clean, everything's in order, the meals prepared on time, delicious, everything is in place. Our husbands are at the head of the table leading the Seder. Everyone is dressed in beautiful clothing in honor of the holiday, and everyone's smiling. Are you smiling? Really? Is everyone smiling? After spending hours and days and weeks in preparation for those few hours of one Seder night here in Israel or 2 Seder nights abroad, when that Seder night is in place, are you and your family really at ease and smiling? Or are you all recovering from some form of post-traumatic stress syndrome? I see many women stressed, and that stress builds and builds as Pesach gets closer. And I really can't imagine that their families are not feeling that stress too. And yet, Pesach embodies the message of freedom. Our Jewish ancestors, wives and mothers, in the middle of days of long humiliation, backbreaking work, men forced to do women's jobs, women forced to do men's jobs, the men sleeping in the fields so they can get up early enough to collect that straw and meet their quota. Imagine these women hearing their friends, their neighbors, they themselves experiencing Egyptian soldiers snatching their baby sons out of their arms to drown them in the Nile River. And yet, these women, day after day, would not let these situations deter them from being with their husbands. That's astounding. I mean, think about what they were doing. So what did these women achieve that Hashem finds the mirrors? It was the mirrors that was the most precious donation for the Mishkan. What is the purpose of the Mishkan? Let's go back to that. What is the purpose of the Mishkan? It is to bring down the Shekhinah. It is to create unity between Hashem and Bnei Israel. And that unity in our text is always compared to that of a relationship between a husband and wife. So what do we have here in common? There are only 3 forums, 3 venues where the Shekhinah can be drawn down. The Mishkan, the Beit HaMikdash, which in the Navi, the Kadosh Kadashim, the Holy of Holies, in the Beit HaMikdash is called the bedchamber of the house of Hashem. And the 3rd forum is the bedroom of every couple who fulfills all aspects of the mitzvot between a couple that truly reflects a couple being one as Adam knew Chava. So in Mitzrayim, the Jewish women's mirrors were a tool to achieve drawing down the Shekhinah. These righteous women reignited the spark of a relationship between husband and wife regardless of what was going on around them. The relation between husband and wife is not solely for the purpose of growing the Jewish population. That's a function, and it is a mitzvah. However, the being as one is what these righteous women drew down by drawing down the Shekhinah. They created that in the middle of slavery and in the middle of a holocaust going on for every Jewish son. This is why there's a message here of Pesach being freedom. The freedom to be who we're meant to be. We are royalty on this holiday. Our Seders are meant to inspire us to embrace that message of true freedom. So, in order to feel that freedom at Seder, ask yourself, are my Pesach preparations enslaving me and my family, or are we truly nurturing freedom, ease, and grace in our lives? Use your divinely granted feminine strengths to expand on the true message of freedom. Look in your mirror and find your queen. Find her, seek her, she's there. Bring her out. Thank you for your time. Chodesh Tov and Shabbat Shalom V'rach. Please like and subscribe.